Hey y'all, welcome back to Yo React, creepy TikToks that will make you rethink, part 7. And if this is your first time coming across this channel, welcome. I'm your girl Yo, hope you're having a beautiful day, and be sure to smash that like and subscribe, turn your notifications on so you're notified each time I upload. And please give a thumbs up, that way I can continue to bring you all this hot content. Now let's get straight into it.
So what they say in this document is they will dole out poisonous foods. It's not what we need, but it's what we want. And those that decide to eat these foods.
The security message of this is we're going to tell you this stuff and you have to shut your mouth. Okay? Because when we start implementing this stuff, people are going to freak out.
Tell us on page 98, a typical scenario, takedown of the U.S. by 10 people and $10 million. Binary biologicals, imported vitamins and clothing. The food supply will be poisoned. Terror attacks with vaccines and with viruses. They talk about our railroads will be attacked. Selective anti-personnel with radiation frequencies, microwaves from the towers. The water supply will be contaminated via intercontinental unmanned vehicles, accompanied by serious cyber, and that's the CNN syndrome. So they're telling us here how easy it would be to take down the United States with these new technologies.
And here we go. We're just going to get right into it. I'm going to bring up a document that I found from 1979. This document was top secret. It was actually found in a Boeing printer, surplus Boeing printer that was bought in 1989. In 1986, they found this document, and they've been trying to tell you guys all about it for all these years. And everyone the whole time was just saying, oh, that's just conspiracy theory. Oh, that's just a lie. Oh, you just made that stuff up. Now, we're going to peel back the onion, and we're going to see what's inside this document. It's called Silent War, Silent Weapons for a Quiet War. And man, the stuff in this document, introduction. Silent weapon technology has evolved from operation research, a strategic and tactical mythology developed under the military management in England during World War II. The original purpose of operation research was to study the strategic and tactical problems of air and land defense with the objective of effective use of limited military resources against foreign enemies. They were soon recognized by those in position of power that the same methods might be useful for totally controlling a society. But better tools were necessary. Social engineering, the analysis and automation of a society, requires the correlation of great amounts of constantly changing economic information, data. So high-speed computerized data processing systems was necessary, which could race ahead of the society and predict when society would arrive for capitalization. Those in positions of power strongly suspected that it was possible for them to control the whole world with a push of a button. Immediately, the Rockefeller Foundation got on the ground floor by making a 4-year grant to the Harvard College, funding the Harvard Economic Research Project for the study of the structure of the American economy. 1 year later, in 1949, the United States Air Force joined in. Now hear me out. What if there's a plan already in place to literally kill and take out a large portion of the population?
They're keeping us so sick from the fluoride, from the aspartame in the food, all of the dyes and chemicals on everything. I mean, even the receipts that we get from filling our cars with gas are poisonous. We shouldn't be touching them. And so we need to navigate. I say that life on a daily basis is like trying to walk through a landmine field.
That video mentioned a lot of additives and chemicals in foods that go against our good health. And from the looks of it, it appears to be in everything. I'm going to do some more research into this. Now, it even mentioned McDonald's. Now, I have had an occasional fryer or two, but man.
As soon as I got there, there was a tent of 150 fighting age men, mostly from West Africa, Muslim countries in Africa, the Middle East, and India. And what they told me is that they actually, the new place that they're getting all of these people from Right here, you can see the footage right there on the screen. Those tents, that was yesterday, and this is happening every single day. 150 of them. Instead, they had over 500 yesterday alone in that one location. 500. And what scared me, now I went up, the Border Patrol, you could tell, was so frustrated. They wanted me to get in there and film it and show you close up. As soon as I did that, at the end of this video, I had a guy come out from National Park, said I couldn't be that close. I couldn't film this. I had to go across the street, and our own national park, our national monument down there. This is what's coming into America. But the scariest part, Border Patrol came up to me and he said, you need to know and you need to report this. We're getting huge numbers from Syria right now. And if we could show the picture, they sent me a picture of one of the guys from Syria. If we can show that picture of the guy, this guy.
In the video, they mentioned Border Patrol agents wanted to shed some light on this issue. Fighting age men with no women, no children, flooding the border seeking asylum. Something seems pretty strange about that. Let me know what you think about that.
They are preparing for World War III. Elementary and high schools in Russia have started doing radiation mask training and active nuclear strike drills this month. Bunkers that were built during the Cold War that have since been abandoned are being reactivated. Construction crews were brought in to prepare them for use, and military personnel were seen outfitting them with weapons and supplies. Emergency response units such as the EMT are training with dogs and gas masks to simulate what they need to do after a nuclear strike, and firefighters are training to decontaminate cars and put out radioactive fires. Loud nuke incoming sirens have been set up in all major population centers and sounded off in drills. Putin has put nuclear forces on maximum readiness, with missiles ready to launch at a moment's notice. He has previously threatened to use nuclear weapons at the start of the Ukrainian war, but never did. However, the country's current emphasis on training their people for nuclear war is a worrying shift.
Into the record, page 55 from the committee's interview with FBI employees. Just have some administrative matters first. I wanted to introduce into the record page 55 from the committee's interview with FBI employee Roya Demlow, who I wanted to introduce into the record page 55 from the committee's interview with page 55 from the committee's interview which took place on July 17, 2023. In that which took place on July 17, 2023. In that, we're to leave this interview and we're to suggest or imply that when you said the laptop was real, that it meant that the FBI had affirmatively determined in October 2020 that the laptop belonged to Hunter Biden. We're to leave this interview and we're to suggest or imply that when you said the laptop was real, that it meant that the FBI had affirmatively determined in October 2020 that the laptop belonged to Hunter Biden.
Now that was a weird one. The woman sitting right behind her to the right was mouthing the complete speech, even the mess-ups and misspoken parts. Now that seems a little weird to me. After scanning the room, she appeared to cover her mouth, like she realized some people were watching her.
I was told, the coroner came and he said that whoever did this intentionally. Michael had enough propofol in him, he said, to kill an elephant. Conspiracy, and a lot of people were involved in this, and they know who they are. And they're very afraid of what I might say, of what my brother has told me.
Was he used in your mind?
Somebody was in Michael's house outside of that doctor during that time. Now that I do know, and I know who that person was that was in his house. Now, one person I would love to have.
Safe?
I would love to have a one-on-one with probably.
I mean, you could instinctively get from.
You knew that your sister or brother were telling you that they were going to do this to him, that it was a group of people, and this is what's going to happen to me step by step, the way he said it, not only to me, but to my mother as well.
I've always believed that the real measure of celebrity success was not just...
LaToya Jackson exposes Whoopi Goldberg for hiding how they sacrificed Michael Jackson. Ever since the King of Pop died, there have been a lot of theories as to what happened, but one thing we can all agree on is that it was a murder, and his doctor might be the one responsible. However, even before all this happened, it seems as though Michael knew that he was a target. He already knew that he was going to be killed, and he had told his sister, LaToya Jackson. And ever since he told her, LaToya has always known the truth behind it. She has gone on multiple interviews talking about how her brother was killed. During one of these interviews, she exposed Whoopi Goldberg for hiding how they sacrificed Michael Jackson. But are these claims true, or is it just another theory? Well, let's find out. Michael Jackson's death was a tragedy for the entire world. The king of pop was beloved by the whole world, with everyone singing to his music. This is why, when he died of a supposed overdose, everyone came up with theories. However, in his entire family, the person who seemed most affected was his sister, LaToya Jackson.
And when she did that, I almost crashed the car. I started crying.
The pop icon's sister went on so many interviews talking about her brother's death, and in each of these interviews, she would always talk about how he told her that he was going to be killed. She recalled Michael telling her, LaToya, I'm going to be murdered for my music publishing catalog and my estate. According to LaToya, Michael would always tell her this again and again, and as she claims, Michael always believed that there was a conspiracy. LaToya wrote the memoir, Starting Over, as a result of how hurt she was by her brother's passing. And in this memoir, she details her theory about what really killed her brother. According to LaToya, there was a conspiracy behind his demise. She claims that Michael's murder was a plot by his business advisors and doctors to work him to death with the concerts that he was working on. And with his death, they were hoping to profit from his estate. LaToya goes ahead to call Dr. Conrad Murray the fall guy. In this memoir, LaToya really talks a lot about Michael, giving insights into their relationship and how he cared for his 3 children, Paris, Prince, and Blanket.
You can still see that big sister energy still protecting her brother. We should all be so lucky to have someone speaking on our behalf after passing. Shout out to all the big sisters in the world that's holding the family down the way you're supposed to.
If someone had told me that my life would have been like this early enough where I could have got out, I would have got out. I'd say, no. I want to go and have a normal life.
That was 90s actor Gary Coleman talking about his experience in Hollywood. Then he doubled down on the details of the execs he dealt with.
You have to forgive me, I can't find the words. They're rude, they're obnoxious, they're not fun to be around. And then they're racist, and they probably have swastikas tattooed on them somewhere.
Even his own parents watched him suffer while he was fighting for his life.
When your child is sick on the set, throwing up, rejecting his kidney, on dialysis 4 times a day, that's the time for parents to step in and...
But that wasn't all he had to deal with.
You know what? I have this on my head because I fell down the stairs. I don't want people thinking that my wife is abusing me.
Did you catch the sarcasm in his voice too? Well, here's why he might think she had something to do with it.
He just got home. I heard this big bang. I went downstairs, blood everywhere. Send someone quick because I don't even know if he's going to be alive because there's a lot of blood on the floor.
Can you go to where he is and help him?
He's lethargic. I can't really help him. I just can't be here with the blood.
If you were old enough to watch sitcoms in the 90s, then Gary Coleman is most likely a familiar name to you. And although what you knew him for was probably his funny catchphrase. Watch It Talkin' About Willis. The actor's life in the industry seems to have been through nothing short of hell. Besides having difficulties getting along with people in and out of the industry, Coleman also had to fight betrayal from his own family members. All of this was happening while the industry itself was milking him dry. But he didn't leave without telling the tale of what his eyes saw as a star at his peak in Hollywood. And let me just tell you that things within the industry are a lot darker than what you believe. Coleman's life is proof of that, and if you want to be convinced, stay tuned till the end.
So I finally just said, enough of all of you people. I'm sick of all you people. I don't want to hear from any more of you people.
In general, being an adult that's 4 feet 6 inches comes with its own set of challenges, such as being able to drive certain vehicles. But things like this were the last of Different Strokes actor Gary Coleman's worries as an adult, as his life was marred with much more horrible situations. After becoming a star thanks to the show Different Strokes, Gary Coleman was the highest paid child actor of the 1970s and 1980s. Legendary comedians like Bob Hope and Lucille Ball hailed him as the next big thing in comedy. But in the end, the decline that preceded Gary Coleman's life came to overshadow his early success. The former child star, who became synonymous with the phrase, "What you talking about, Willis?" struggled throughout his life with drug, legal, and domestic problems. In the series of challenges that faced the actor, one thing that remained constant was that every single person around him had their own MO and was planning to take advantage of him at one point or the other.
Did you hear what Gary said? Knowing what he knows now, he would have got out? Got out of what? He made reference to a lot of evil people in the business and people around him in general. Drop down in the comments and let me know what you think. And if you get a chance, check out Gary Coleman. What you talking about, Willis?
Visitors are not our friends. They are not who they appear to be. This is not science fiction. This is what they are. It's just a trick.
Look, we were just sent here from the home planet. We just arrived on orders.
You're human. Forget this masquerade.
We are not.
They've been trying to give hints and tell us something for a while now with regards to these reptilians.
Watch LeBron James on the sideline watching him. So there's a guy, you can see him right here, right behind him. That is LeBron James watching LeBron.
That Hollywood has been shut down, and they called in all the celebrities to to get a scan of their body and use their likeness or whatever. And they're trying to play in our face and tell me that this is Eva Marcel, Eva M, the model, Love and Hip Hop or whatever, Housewives or wherever she came from. But Madam, off of All the Queen's Men, this is not her. I don't give a damn what sickness is. This is not Madam. She went live or whatever, or went to a press conference, and Hollywood is shut down. They're not paying anyone, so they're using their likeness of everyone, and basically they're trying to tell us this is Eva. This is Eva in 2022. Eva 2022. 23. Eva 2.1. Not even O. I understand that there are sicknesses, but don't play in our face like this.
I love Eva. I think she just lost some weight. Now that video of LeBron in the stands watching LeBron was trippy. Now they say we all got a doppelganger out there, but this one I ain't too sure about.
How would you blokes like to make some real money? Well, and who do we have to, No, nothing like that. You see? I'm collecting stupid little boys. Stupid little boys, the disobedient ones, what they'll give from school. And you see, and I take them to Pleasure Island. Pleasure Island. Pleasure Island? But the law. Suppose they... No. There's no risk. They never come back. As boys. Come on, let's have another. And what's your name? Okay, you'll do. In you go. You boys will bring a nice price. All right, next. And what might your name be?
Alexander.
So you can talk.
Yes, sir. I want to go home to my mama.
Take him back. He can still talk.
Please, I don't want to be a junkie. Let me out of here.
You boys have had your fun. Now pay for it. Boys? So that's what...
This island has one of the most disturbing histories in America, and no one really knows the full truth behind it. So like I said before, this island was owned by multi-millionaire Francis Sheldon, pictured right here. And Francis and a number of other local men from Michigan, including this guy, Gerald S. Richards, ran a boys' camp on the island. They would fly kids to the island on this airstrip, kids from the YMCA and other schools and communities in the area. And both the children and the parents of the children who attended this boys' camp were told that this was an island of fun where kids could relax. They had big brothers there. It was going to be totally safe. And this camp ran on this island for a period of years. Then one day, some of the kids who attended the camp began to tell their parents that the counselors or the teachers, the adults that were there on the island, had behaved with them in very, very inappropriate ways. They began telling their friends and parents that they were taken into these cabins pictured here on the island. They were assaulted. They were told to remove all of their clothing and that there were cameras all over the place. Well, it turns out that this guy, the multi-millionaire with political and business connections in the area, Francis Sheldon, was running a massive CP ring. And they had been abusing the children on this island under the guise of bringing them to a boys' camp for years, recording all of it, selling it across the world. And some of the more affluent clients of their business were even allowed to take trips to the island themselves to see some of these young boys. Now, this story bears an obvious resemblance to the story of Jeffrey Epstein, but there are some very, very strange things that are happening here that nobody knows about and the government still refuses to talk about to this day. So let's talk about this guy, Gerald S. Richards. He was a gym teacher at a local Catholic school who went down for the crimes, and he was heavily involved with every aspect of this business, if you know what I mean. Well, it seems like through his political and business connections, Francis Sheldon was actually tipped off that he was about to be arrested and raided and charged with these horrific crimes. So Francis, before he could be brought to justice for these crimes, he actually fled the country in a personal plane. He then moved to France, got remarried, and died in Amsterdam, and never had to pay for any of the crimes that were committed here. But it's when we start talking about the murders that this story really starts to blow my mind. So take a good look at this guy, Chris Bush. This is Christopher Bush's father, Harold Lee Bush. Now, he was an executive with General Motors, and the family was obviously extremely wealthy. They were politically connected, and they were very connected to every business in the area. These guys had a lot of power. But back to Christopher Bush. This guy had assaulted a number of children. He'd been let out of prison, let out of jail in a very, very suspicious way multiple times, put on bail for serious offenses. And he was an alleged associate of the crime ring that was happening on North Fox Island. Meaning that, like I said earlier, he was one of those people who could afford to actually fly out to the island to do things himself. I'm out of time. Follow for part 3. This is where it gets juicy.
They were telling us the whole time what they're about. The Magic Kingdom doesn't seem so magical, does it? Tell me what you think about all this.
Be aware of this. Black people invented the traffic signal, air conditioning, refrigerator, hearing aid, lawnmower, fountain pen, wrench, clothes dryer. The first steam engine was invented by a black person, but they couldn't patent it because he was a slave. So go to our website. You can check.
Who began taping whatever was on television from 1975 until her death in 2012. She made a total of 71,000 VHS and Betamax tapes, which is the most comprehensive collection of television during this era. She was able to pay for her recordings and storage space by investing early in Apple stock. Although she had never sent a single email, she managed to convince her friends and family to purchase Apple stock as well. Towards the end of her life, she had made so much money that she was able to store her tapes in 9 apartments she had purchased over the years. According to film director Matt Wolf, Marion Stokes was interested in access to information, documenting media, making sure people had the information they needed to make good decisions. Due to her political activism in her early years, Stokes was convinced that the government was keeping surveillance on her every move, and she became extremely cautious about her recordings. She had every right to be paranoid as she lived through the Philadelphia Move bombing in 1985, in which the FBI and Philadelphia police used a helicopter to drop bombs during an armed standoff with Move members. The bomb started a fire that eventually destroyed 61 houses and killed 11 people. Her work is currently being digitized by the Internet Archive, a non-profit library of millions of free books, movies, software, music, websites, and more.
She was able to invest in the Apple stocks in the 70s and convinced her family too. Wow, this was just an amazing story. There's that family energy again. What stood out to you the most? A lot of good stuff in today's video. As always, if something piqued your interest, I want to know about it. Hit me up in the comments. Well, that's it, guys. Be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. You're rocking with Yo React. Be sure to spread love, take care, and stay curious. See you in the next one. Love and light. Bye-bye.